There are whispers in the archives of the Ordo Xenos, faint murmurs of a singular being whose arrival into the galaxy of the 41st millennium would alter the tapestry of fate itself. Not a Primarch, nor a demon prince, nor even a god, but a hunter. A solitary warrior forged in alien science and human spirit alike. Her name, Samus Aran. Imagine, if you will, a figure descending through the eternal void, her armor burning like a comet as it pierces the black storms of the Imperium. A warrior with no army, no banner, no legion, yet one whose presence carries the weight of countless victories across alien worlds. A bounty hunter whose legend echoes with the destruction of monsters, machines, and gods alike. The question arises, what if such a being were to fall into the galaxy of Warhammer 40,000, the warp screams and bends, a corridor of impossible geometry tearing itself open across the surface of a nameless dead world. Within its maelstrom, lightning of every hue cracks across the sky, revealing glimpses of alien stars beyond. From that impossible storm, she arrives. Her suit of power, gleaming, alien, alive with a technology that rivals even the sacred vaults of the Adeptus Mechanicus. The visor burns emerald, a single point of order and precision amidst chaos. For the Imperium, such a sight would be both omen and heresy. The priests of Mars would bow in rage in equal measure, for her armor bears no machine spirit sanctioned by the Omnicia. To them, her very existence is a blasphemy, a rival truth in the great mystery of technology. And yet, for the common guardsmen, for the gangers of hive cities, for the oppressed masses who live and die in the shadow of the Emperor's eternal will, she would be something else entirely. A symbol. A solitary champion capable of deeds far beyond mortal reckoning. Visual, vast Gothic libraries filled with incense smoke, where robed scribes whisper forbidden names while turning through pages bound in human skin. The hunters of the Ordo Xenos would stir. Could she be one of the lost abhuman strains? A hybrid weapon designed by Xenos? Or worse still, an infiltration agent of the Tau Empire, a living proof of their growing technological heresy? Questions would ripple across the Imperial hierarchy. Where she walked, suspicion would follow, and yet Samus does not seek empires, nor does she crave dominion. Her nature is as a predator of predators, a weapon directed not by creed but by survival, justice, and vengeance. Where tyranids ravage worlds, she would descend, weaving between spore clouds and monstrous bioforms with plasma burning at her hands. Where orcs swarm in endless tides, she would cut through their numbers with missiles that leave only fire and shattered bone behind. Where chaos itself rears its unholy head, she would stand unflinching, her will unbroken, her suit untainted. The galaxy would not know how to classify her. To some, she would be angelic, a figure as mythic as the Emperor's own angels of death. To others, she would be the devil clothed in strange alloys. But always, her presence would echo with danger. For Samus carries with her not only the legacy of her battles, but the silent technology of the Chozo, or race as ancient as the Eldar, and perhaps no less tragic. Visual, a silhouette of Samus standing before a vast ruined temple, its walls lined with alien glyphs glowing faintly, not unlike the webway runes of the Eldari. In the coldest archives of the Inquisition, the question would not merely be what she is, but why she is come. Does the warp itself deliver her as a pawn in some greater scheme? Is she a tool of the Emperor, a final fragment of the forgotten human past hurled into the present to aid in the endless war? Or is she a disruption, a crack in the already fragile stability of a universe spiraling toward damnation? One thing is certain, her arrival would not pass quietly. Like a stone cast into still water, ripples would spread, touching worlds, armies, and gods. Samus Aran, the hunter, had stepped into the grim darkness of the far future. And nothing would ever be the same again. To understand the impact of Samus in the 41st millennium, one must trace the roots of her being. She is no simple warrior. She is the culmination of two legacies, the human bloodline into which she was born, and the alien heritage bestowed upon her by the Chozo ancient, enigmatic, and long vanished, were architects of life and death, wielders of science so advanced it rivals the bioarcana of the old ones themselves. Their creations shaped worlds, forged weapons, and crafted guardians capable of defying extinction. In the annals of lost time, one might whisper that the Chozo were kin to the old ones of Warhammer's earliest eons, or at least their shadow. Their ruins, scattered across countless planets, echo the same themes as the forgotten webway of the Eldari, or the impossible tombs of the Necrons, a reminder of civilizations that touched the stars and then fell into silence. Samus was a child of tragedy. Her family slain by Ridley, the draconic terror of the space pirates, she was reborn by the Chozo as something greater. Their DNA mingled with her own, and their technology fused to her flesh. She became a singular hybrid, neither fully human nor fully alien, but a vessel of power unlike any other. In the Warhammer galaxy, such a story would not be myth, it would be heresy, the kind of tale that inquisitors burn entire cities to erase as visual, a cracked hololithic display showing ghostly images of Chozo temples alongside ruined Eldar craftworld domes, the screen flickering with static. Her armor, the power suit, is not merely plate and metal. It is a living artifact, adapting, evolving, channeling energy like the wargear of the Adeptus Custodes, but with a flexibility unknown even to the artificers of Mars. Weapons materialize with thought. Shields reconfigure. Morphball transformations bend the laws of matter itself. Such technology would drive the Adeptus Mechanicus into frenzy. To them, she would be both salvation and profanation. They would seek to tear the suit from her, dissect its essence, and bind its secrets to their endless pursuit of the omnia as truth, but Samus does not yield her weaponry. It is her skin, her identity, her life. To surrender it would be to surrender herself. The orcs, ever drawn to war, would revere her not as a god, but as the ultimate fight. Dehume in shiny armor, what blasts like a gun tank, they would cry, swarming toward her in endless tides. And in return, she would cut them down, her plasma beams scorching green flesh by the dozen. To the orcs, she would be legend, their stories of her fights growing ever wilder with each retelling. The Eldari, however, would recognize something far more dangerous. To them, Samus would be a sign. A lone hybrid of man and alien, armored in technology that rivals their own, moving with a destiny that echoes prophecy. The Farcers would whisper in hidden councils, is she a shard of hope, or another doom? To them, she would be another unpredictable element in a galaxy already poised upon a knife's edge. The Necrons, too, might stir. For in her Chozo inheritance lies the echo of what they themselves once sought, transcendence, evolution, survival beyond the flesh. Would they view her as a rival, a flawed echo of their perfection? Or as a curiosity, a test subject for their cold experiments? Visual, a barren tomb world awakening, its obsidian monoliths rising as Samus's visor glows defiantly in the darkness. And the Tyranids, the hive mind would know her scent instantly. A warrior unlike any it has ever consumed, bearing DNA that mingles human and alien in ways that promise new evolution. To the hive mind, she would not be prey. She would be a prize. Its swarms would not simply devour her, they would hunt her endlessly, seeking to break her body and fold her uniqueness into their own endless gene pool. Thus, Samus Aran's existence in the galaxy would ignite reactions in every corner of power. For some, she would be a savior. For others, a threat. But in every case, she would be a disruption to the status quo of endless war. And that disruption is something the galaxy never tolerates for long. If Samus appeared in the galaxy of the 41st millennium, what would the Imperium scholars and heretics alike whisper of her origin? The archives of forbidden lore would overflow with speculation. Some would claim she is a weapon of the dark age of technology, a forgotten relic cast adrift and recovered only now. After all, her armor resembles the fabled warplate of the Men of Iron, fused with biometrics beyond Mechanicus understanding. Was she a secret project of humanity's golden age, hurled into another universe and now returned? Others would point to the Chozo legacy and see shadows of the old ones. Were the Chozo servants of those ancient shapers, who once waged war against the Necrons and the Tan? Did they, like the Eldar, fall into ruin, leaving only fragments of their power behind? And if Samus is their last living weapon, then does she carry within her the echoes of that first galactic war? Visual, star maps flickering with overlays of ancient wars, constellations rearranging to reveal the outlines of gods and titans. Chaos, too, would not remain silent. To the ruinous powers, Samus would be both threat and temptation. Her will is strong, her mind disciplined, her soul forged in fire. But such strength is a prize worth breaking. Sench would weave visions of false Chozo ancestors, luring her with promises of greater power. Slaanesh would whisper in the quiet between battles, offering release from endless struggle. Nurgle would seek to embrace her resilience, to twist it into rot. And Khorne would love her most of all, for her life is endless war, endless battle, endless blood spilled in the name of survival. And yet, would she fall? That is the question. Samus is not a primarch, bound by loyalty or hubris. She is not an imperial saint, dependent on faith. She is her own, independent, untamed. And perhaps that very independence would make her incorruptible or utterly vulnerable. In the hidden sects of the Inquisition, darker theories would bloom. Some would claim she is no human at all, but a fragment of the Emperor's own genetic legacy cast beyond the veil. A proto-primarch, or even a forgotten daughter of the Master of Mankind, returning not as a servant but as a wildcard. Could the Emperor's hand have reached across universes to create her? And if so, what purpose does she serve? Visual, golden statues of the Emperor cracking under shadow, as Samus's silhouette walks across the shattered marble floor. Still others might whisper that she is an omen of the end. That her sudden arrival is the herald of something greater, another galactic predator, another force beyond comprehension, one she was sent to hunt. Perhaps the Metroids themselves, the life-draining organisms of her own universe, have slipped into the 41st millennium. And if they have, then even the Tyranids would tremble, for here is a parasite that feeds not on flesh, but on life itself. Such theories would twist through the galaxy, never proven, never disproven. But their weight would shape perception. And perception, in Warhammer 40,000, is often more dangerous than truth. If Samus remains in the galaxy, her fate is bound to its eternal war. She would never find peace here, only endless battle against threats both familiar and alien. Yet her very presence could alter the paths of countless wars. On the frontiers against the Tyranids, she would be a terror unmatched. A lone warrior capable of carving swathes through bioforms that entire guard regiments fall before. In a single campaign, she could save a world from consumption. But for every victory, the hive mind would learn, adapt, and grow. Could even she hold against a predator that evolves with every strike? Among the stars haunted by chaos, her struggle would be darker still. Demons would seek to unmake her, warp echoes whispering into her dreams. But Samus has stared into the abyss before. She has hunted abominations that devour suns. She would stand. Whether she triumphs is another question altogether. The Imperium itself would remain her greatest paradox. To the people, she would be hero and myth. To the ecclesiarchy, a dangerous rival to the Emperor's sole divinity. To the Mechanicus, an unholy relic they would kill to possess. Would she ally with them, tolerate them, or defy them outright? Her story could end at the pyres of the Inquisition, or with her walking alone across a battlefield of titans and fallen angels, refusing to kneel. Visual, Samus walking away from a burning Imperial city, her visor dimly reflecting the flames of shrines and statues collapsing. But perhaps the greatest danger of all lies not in her enemies, but in her potential. For Samus is not static. Her armor grows, evolves, adapts. In a galaxy already strained by imbalance, what would it mean for a lone hunter to evolve into something far greater? Could she rival the Primarchs? Could she stand against a demon prince and prevail? Could she, in time, become a symbol that unites? Or would she be erased, buried in silence, her name struck from every archive? The galaxy is an endless crucible, and every legend is either reforged or destroyed within its fire. Samus Aran, the hunter, has walked through her own crucibles before. If she were to remain here, in this grim darkness, she would find no respite, no end to her journey. Only battle. Only survival. Only war. Visual, a closing image of the galaxy itself, stars slowly winking out one by one, until only Samus's glowing visor remains in the dark. And so, the question lingers, echoing across the void, unanswered and eternal. If Samus Aran walks the galaxy of the 41st millennium, does she hunt the darkness, or does the darkness, in the end, hunt her? In the grim darkness of the far future, even the greatest hunter may find herself the hunted. If you seek more hidden histories and forbidden what-ifs of the grimdark future, remain with us, and subscribe to Secrets of Warhammer.